Welcome back to Our Vision Farm, guys. We are long overdue for an update. What we have here in front of our house is just a bunch of seedlings that I'm trying to get hardened off so they get that morning sun, and then on the hottest part of the day they just get some shade from the house, which is good because today is a very hot one. It's almost 80 degrees today. I think the highs are around 75 to 77, but definitely feels warm, especially working out here in the blazing sun. But it does feel good either way because after winter time, that's what you want, for it to warm up and be springtime and be safe to plant outdoors. So I finally got my new laptop, just a used one we bought from someone on Marketplace. So we got lucky to find a super affordable one so I can record videos with my camera and make them a little bit longer than what we've been doing on our phone. But there is our garden. We definitely have to figure out something for irrigation. Right now it's just taking way too long to hand water everything. Even to connect like a hose, we have to go all the way to the basement and connect our hose down there. And then luckily we had a friend that gifted us two 100-foot hoses. That literally, I have not stretched it out to see if it reaches all the way to the end of our garden, but I have like plenty of feet to work with and it reaches pretty much most of our garden. We might have trouble reaching like all the way back here towards the back of it, but like I've been watering our first few rows that we have things planted in, and I have like an over amount of hose that I have not even used. So we got lucky with that, but it's just a lot of work dragging the heavy 100 feet, well 200 feet altogether of hoses around. I also do collect some rainwater, but when we collect rainwater, we don't really have a system set up for that. It's basically just hand watering with a watering can. So that gets pretty exhausting. It takes a while, but it makes good use of the rainwater that we are harvesting. So I do like that. It's a little bit more self-sufficient than using our well water. But see, I don't know what the plan is. Once our garden starts reaching all the way to that end, we have to figure something else out, just to kind of have water sources closer to those rows back there. But we're trying to do the best we can with what we have. We don't want to invest too much more money, and we definitely can't dig another well just for the garden. We're not doing anything like that. Our water well is pretty good and not too old on this house, surprisingly. So that's what we're going to be using this year for irrigation, just our own well water and whatever rainwater that we can harvest. But we just have to figure out a system. So right now I just finished watering. We have things planted up to there where you see that darkish row. So I'll show you what we have so far. The first one, as you can see, is garlic, and it's doing really good. And what I did in between the garlic, wherever a space was where maybe a clove didn't sprout or something, I transplanted onions in between. So those are actually doing pretty good. I just finished watering, so they're a little bit limpy, but they're doing really good. Ever since I planted them, I've seen lots of growth on them, and those are Spanish yellow onions. So those are all the way, they reach all the way down. So I have garlic, onion, spaces like this where I have no garlic growing. I have a couple onions filling the spot. So I thought that was a great way to utilize that space. Next to that, our kale is pretty much non-existent. The Italian kale that we transplanted all pretty much looks like this, or it looks like this. It got completely devoured by the caterpillars, and I'm not sure what type of caterpillar or slug it is, but the damage happens at nighttime for sure. So we've been sprinkling garlic powder and cayenne powder to try to stop them. That has actually seemed to work better than the BT. We tried BT spray and we tried it so many times, and all it really did was burn our plants, and we didn't make it too strong. We used the concentrate, we watered it down plenty, but it just didn't work out. It burned the plants and it didn't stop the caterpillars. After all, we applied it several times and it just wasn't working fast enough. So we started putting garlic powder and cayenne powder. Not so much on the kale because that's already pretty much dead, but on the collard greens, anything new that we're planting, and also the kohlrabi. So this was all kale, but what remains of the kale just pretty much is dead, or there's just nothing at all. Like some of these, you can see the caterpillars just ate all the leaves. They could still bounce back. I'm still going to apply the natural garlic powder and cayenne powder just to see. Even the kohlrabi started getting some damage. But what I do after a watering, like I just did now, I come back and sprinkle the garlic and the cayenne powder, because they say the caterpillars don't like the strong smell of garlic or the spiciness of any type of hot pepper. But the kohlrabi really isn't doing that bad. I have it all down this row. I think that maybe we caught it in time with the powder that I've been doing. And I did not plant all of our Italian kale, and I did not plant all of our kohlrabi. I still have some to transplant. So we're just trying to figure out what's going to work to keep those worms away before we go ahead and plant everything else, or if we want to just try out a different spot for planting them, maybe in the flower garden boxes or something like that. So garlic, onion, Italian kale, I wouldn't even call it Italian kale anymore, it's just whatever is left of it. The kohlrabi. The kohlrabi is questionable. I think it's going to survive, but I'm not sure. Tulips, they have all pretty much been cut down besides these three that are left. Those pretty much just bloom, so they're not any good for selling anymore. Everything else that you see is pretty much just when I chop them down. For Mother's Day, we sold a bunch of them, Mother's Day weekend. So those did really good, and they bloomed just in a perfect timing. So that worked out good. If you follow our Facebook or Instagram page, I posted pictures of how all those came out. Alliums. Okay, so these were alliums. I haven't seen much happening from these yet. I'm not sure when they're supposed to actually bloom and have a flower, but they're still there. They're still standing. I don't water them or anything, so they're just growing on their own, and they reach all the way down there. I have to be careful where I step because we are starting to kind of fill out all of our rows. So where I'm walking here, you see these little wet spots. This is actually onions that we transplanted. So we did a whole nother row of just the same thing, yellow Spanish onions. And they go all the way down. And the radish seeds that we started straight into the ground germinated. Everything we transplanted has been doing good, with the exception, of course, of the Italian kale, or they call it dinosaur kale as well. So, like I said, we're trying to figure out what to do with the rest of that, because I don't know that I want to plant it directly in here and have the same thing happen. But hopefully our little remedy of the garlic powder and cayenne works, and then we could just douse it in that when we plant it and try to get some good sized plants. I feel like the bigger the plant, the less damage from the caterpillars, because whatever it is, I think it's coming from the ground at nighttime, because we don't notice the caterpillars during the day. It's just when we check the garden in the morning, we've already seen the damage, and they do it pretty fast. I've noticed little bites missing here and there from the collards, mustard greens, even the radish seeds, but not as bad and as heavy as the Italian kale specifically. Maybe it's just a crop that we won't try to grow anymore as well, or grow it in pots. That's always an option. But that's why this first year is experimental, and we're just trying to see what goes good for us here. We're trying a little bit of everything, and then we'll decide what we want to continue growing. I like a very varied garden anyway, a little bit of everything. But if we continuously try something many times and it doesn't work out, then we'll take it as a sign that we should not continue to try to waste our time and grow it. The flower garden is doing good. Some of the things we planted in there the other day that I made a video on have germinated. I noticed some sunflower seeds in there. I believe I saw zinnias. I'm not sure what else I saw, and I just tossed in some more seeds today that my neighbor gave me as well. I think there were daisies, forget-me-nots, some more wildflowers, and some more marigolds. But I also have things to transplant into that flower garden as well that we haven't done yet. So once all that gets in there, it's going to be pretty much going good with all the flowers that we want to grow this year. Our field is just covered in flowers. Dandelions and violets is the most thing that we have. But we also have wild strawberry flowers, some little white bluish flowers called bluettes. But it just looks so pretty. People consider them as weeds, but I think they look beautiful. A field full of flowers. And then they're hard to see, but I can see little patches of purple, which is the violets, and then random patches of white. And once you get up close to them, you can see that they're bluettes. We even have white violets, so those are pretty cool too. And other flowers just growing on their own include hollyhock, lupins, I'm not sure what else. Our neighbor told us the name of a little patch that we have over here. I forgot the name of it as well, but that's about to bloom. We also have peonies on the side of the house. I think wild geraniums. I'm not sure if I'm saying that right, but we have a lot of things that are already here and that just come back every year, so that's pretty cool. I got to meet the former owner of the house. Her husband has passed away, but she's still alive and full of life, and she was just so adorable. We got to meet her. I forgot how old she said she was, but she's still kicking it, and she was super excited to meet us and see everything that we were doing here in person, because her family does give her updates and show her our videos and our pictures. But to see her in person and show her everything we've done so far was pretty cool, and she loved everything that we're doing. So I was excited to meet her. It was a surprise visit, but those are the best type of surprises. So that's pretty cool that she gets to follow along our journey as well, and she knows that the house is taken care of, and that the property, we're doing something meaningful with the property. So that's what makes her the happiest, is that we're not only improving the property, but doing all this fun stuff to feed the community as well. Our meat chickens come at the end of this month. I forgot the exact date, but when you order meat chickens online, they send them pretty much right after hatching. So I have to look again to see, but I know it was at the end of this month. So as soon as they hatch, they box them up and mail them. And I believe we have to pick them up at the post office. I'm not sure exactly how it works here, but we're starting with 50 meat chickens. We already have the brooder box ready. They're gonna stay in there probably for 2 weeks. Then they'll be on their way to being feathered out. We still have to build a transition pen so we can keep them on the grass, and then these pens would kind of be like the their final stage pens so they can spread out and have more space. So that's pretty much, it's going to be like 3 stages: brooder box, transition pen that is going to be on pasture, and then these movable pens that's also going to be in this area on fresh grass and move daily. So those are coming soon, so we'll get that started very soon, and I have to get the permit to register. I have to register our farm so that we can process the chickens right here on property and sell them to customers. So we have here is I believe it's called under 1,000 chicken law or something along those lines, where it just means that we can't process any more than 1,000 chickens for our customers per year. So that is pretty good. I don't think we'd ever even reach that many numbers just between us two and then raising the chickens ourselves and processing them. 1,000 is plenty. Plus you have to think about, we don't do this all year. We'll probably stop, I believe August would be the last month we order chicks, and then after that, that'll be pretty much it for winter time, and then we order them again next year in May. So that is the updates for the garden and for everything happening right now. I hope you guys enjoyed it. I'll be back very soon with plenty more projects and updates. We are currently in the process of finishing our kitchen, so that will be a whole nother video tour later on once we finish our kitchen, our little facelift that we're doing on the kitchen. I wouldn't call it a whole renovation, but it's a nice little facelift, and it's gonna look and be a whole lot more functional, and it's gonna look nice. So I'm excited to show you that. But that is the update for today. I'll see you guys in the next video.